The ocean is calm, the horizon stretches endlessly, and in the distance, a shape begins to emerge. At first, it seems like a mirage, a shimmering silhouette born from the blending of sunlight and sea mist. But as the eye adjusts, the form becomes clear. It is the Royal Tide 2026, a houseboat that does not merely float upon the water but commands it, sculpting the sea into a stage for its grandeur. From afar, it gleams like a jewel placed upon an endless expanse of sapphire, its glass surfaces capturing every shimmer of light, its wooden panels glowing warmly as if kissed by the golden hand of the sun itself. As a drone descends closer, the majesty of the Royal Tide becomes undeniable. It is not just architecture. It is not merely a vessel. It is a floating palace, an engineering marvel born from a vision where design and elegance meet the vast power of the sea. The sleek lines cut through the horizon with effortless precision, as if it was drawn by the brush of a master painter who wished to fuse modern futurism with timeless luxury. Every reflection from its surface tells a story, every curve invites awe, and every angle radiates presence. The sound of gentle waves brushing against its body only heightens the drama, a symphony of water and wind, orchestrated to announce its royal arrival. Step onto the front deck, and the world changes. The teak wood flooring glows under the sun, its polished surface radiating warmth to the touch. Designer lounge chairs are perfectly aligned, their placement deliberately angled towards the ocean, as though they are thrones for those who wish to sit and command the horizon. The glass railing ensures that nothing interrupts the communion between human and sea. Here, one does not merely watch the ocean, one feels it. The salty breeze wraps itself around the skin, and the soft murmur of the waves below merges with the rhythm of one's heartbeat. To stand here at dawn is to witness the Earth's rebirth, every sunrise painting a masterpiece across the sky. At night, the very same deck transforms. Golden LED strips trace the edges of the floor and railing, glowing softly like a constellation designed by human hands. The reflections ripple across the water, shimmering like liquid gold spilled across the waves. Silence falls, broken only by the occasional call of distant seabirds or the subtle creak of the vessel adjusting to the tide. To stand here under the stars, with the moon's silver light blending into the amber glow of the deck, is to discover what romance feels like when it takes shape in architecture. Each glance at the ocean tells secrets, each breath feels like poetry. The Royal Tide does not merely give you a view, it gives you an experience, one that etches itself into memory as something eternal. Through the sliding glass doors, another world begins. As the doors glide apart, warm golden ambient lighting spills across polished wooden flooring. The interior welcomes with an embrace of sophistication, minimalism, and futuristic grace. Every line has been thought through, every angle calculated to create balance and serenity. It is not cluttered, it is curated. Here, space breathes. Here, luxury is not loud, but deliberate. The main lounge stands at the heart of the experience. Floor-to-ceiling glass walls create a panoramic embrace of the sea. Sit on the premium leather sofas, their surfaces crafted with perfection, and the ocean becomes your television, a live broadcast of nature's endless story. Golden LED light strips run seamlessly across the ceiling edges, highlighting the sleek geometry of the interior. At every hour, the lounge transforms. By day, it is alive with sunlight refracted through endless blue. By evening, it becomes a golden sanctuary, and by night, it is an observatory of stars. Reflected upon water. Every detail in the lounge, from the softness of the fabrics to the arrangement of designer tables, invites the body to relax and the mind to wander. This is not merely a place to sit, it is a place to exist. Walk deeper into the Royal Tide, and the master bedroom reveals itself like a secret. In the morning, the panoramic glass walls allow the first rays of dawn to sweep across the king-size bed. The fabrics shimmer gently in the sunlight, every fold glowing like liquid silk. Golden bedside lamps stand ready, though in the morning they are unnecessary, as the room itself is illuminated by the majesty of nature's design. To awaken here is to be reborn daily, to open your eyes and immediately be greeted by the endless horizon of sea and sky. At night, the same room carries a different personality. The lamps cast a soft, amber glow, filling the space with warmth and intimacy. Beyond the glass, the moon dances on the surface of the ocean, scattering silver diamonds across the water. The bed becomes a throne of tranquility, a sanctuary where love, comfort, and dreams collide. To stand at the window at this hour is to feel as if the world belongs only to you, as if the ocean whispers stories only you are meant to hear. The guest suite carries its own charm. It is not an afterthought, but a continuation of luxury. The furniture speaks of refinement, the lighting soft and deliberate, and the ocean visible from every angle ensures that even visitors feel like royalty. Here, friendships deepen and conversations linger, for the atmosphere itself compels hearts to open. The kitchen and dining area are a testament to modern elegance. Marble countertops gleam under overhead lights, their veins tracing patterns that feel eternal. Appliances stand polished and futuristic, merging functionality with style. The dining table, sculpted from glass and framed by designer chairs, sits as a centerpiece not just for meals, but for experiences. Breakfast here is not a routine, it is a ceremony. The fragrance of freshly baked bread, the colors of tropical fruits arranged with artistry, the gentle hum of the ocean beyond the glass, every detail unites to remind that life, when savored, is divine. And then comes the entertainment lounge, perhaps the most dramatic feature of the Royal Tide. Step into dimmed lighting, and the world outside is replaced with the glow of a widescreen display. Surround sound envelops the room, pulling you into any film, any story, as though you were living it. The plush designer sofas welcome you into comfort so deep that time itself feels irrelevant. Yet even here, the Royal Tide does not allow you to forget where you are. The subtle presence of glass panels ensures that the ocean is always within reach, a silent companion to every laugh, every tear, every cinematic moment. Above it all lies the upper deck, the crown of the Royal Tide. By day, it is a sanctuary under the sun. The blue sky stretches overhead, the ocean sparkles endlessly, and designer lounge chairs invite you to lay back and let the breeze carry your thoughts away. By night, it transforms into a royal gathering space. Golden LED lights outline every corner, casting a soft glow across the deck. Drinks are poured, laughter drifts into the night, and above, the heavens reveal themselves in their full splendor. The stars shine brighter here, far from the noise of cities, and the sea below mirrors them, creating a double universe for you to lose yourself within. Even the bathroom is a masterpiece. Marble walls whisper of timelessness, golden fixtures shine with deliberate opulence, and the freestanding bathtub sits by a panoramic window that frames the ocean like a painting. To bathe here is not an act of cleansing, but of renewal. Each moment in the warm water, with the vastness of the sea before your eyes, feels spiritual, a ritual where body and soul merge with the rhythm of nature. And then, the Royal Tide moves. The engines hum softly, the water parts obediently, and the vessel glides forward with the grace of a monarch entering their court. From above, it resembles a glowing arrow cutting across the ocean's canvas. Spray rises, catching the sunlight, creating diamonds in the air. The experience is not simply travel, it is movement elevated into art. The sea is no longer an obstacle, it is a companion, a partner in the journey. When sunset arrives, time itself seems to pause. The sky burns orange, then crimson, then violet, and the Royal Tide captures it all. The glass gleams with fire, the wood glows with warmth, and every golden reflection turns the boat into a living sculpture of light. To stand on deck at this moment is to feel both small and infinite, humbled by nature yet elevated by design. The heart aches with beauty, the eyes fill with wonder, and the soul knows this is not just a day ending, it is eternity revealing itself. And finally, night falls, and the Royal Tide becomes a floating palace of light. From a drone's gaze, it glows against the dark ocean, a jewel of gold set into the black velvet of the sea. The reflections ripple outward, turning water into liquid starlight. Silence reigns, yet it is not empty, it is filled with presence, with meaning, with the undeniable truth that here, on this vessel, life is not merely lived. It is celebrated. As the Royal Tide sails further into the open waters, its presence becomes more than just physical, it begins to feel spiritual. The ocean accepts it, the waves carry it, and the sky crowns it. Every glance at its architecture tells you it was never meant to be ordinary. It was designed to be an icon, a statement that human imagination, when married to artistry, can create something that transcends definition. People call it a houseboat, but once you step on board, you realize it is something greater. It is not a house upon the sea. It is not a boat carrying luxury. It is a dream transformed into reality, a sanctuary suspended between heaven and earth. Inside, time seems to dissolve. The lounge becomes more than a place to gather, it is the theater of life itself. Imagine sinking into the embrace of the leather sofa while the panoramic windows stretch across your vision. Outside, the sea breathes. The waves roll endlessly, each carrying with it the memories of centuries, each whispering of mysteries unsolved. Sit here for minutes, and you will find relaxation. Sit here for hours, and you will find yourself. Conversations in this lounge are not rushed. They are deep, flowing like the waters beyond the glass. Whether you sit with family, friends, or a lover, the room has a way of quieting the noise of the world and amplifying the beauty of connection. Step into the dining area and witness how meals become memories. The sunlight strikes the marble countertops at just the right angle, casting a glow across every plate and glass. Fresh fruits, vibrant in their colors, shine like jewels against the polished table. Imagine the laughter of children as they taste sweet strawberries, the clink of glasses raised in celebration, the aroma of freshly baked bread mingling with the salt of the sea breeze that sneaks in through a slightly open window. Breakfast becomes more than the start of a day, it becomes a ritual of gratitude. Dinner becomes more than a meal, it becomes a ceremony of life itself. The kitchen behind this spectacle is a masterpiece in functionality. State-of-the-art appliances hum quietly, ready to obey at a touch. Surfaces gleam with precision, and every drawer, every handle, every hidden storage compartment has been crafted with purpose. It is a space where chefs find freedom, where artistry finds tools, and where even the simplest recipe feels elevated by the surroundings. To cook here is to perform, to create flavors worthy of the sea's grandeur. And then there is the master suite. It is more than a bedroom, it is an entire world designed for rest, love, and reflection. In the morning, as the sun climbs the horizon, its light pours into the room in soft golden layers. The king-size bed feels like a throne, the linen smooth as whispers against the skin. To awaken here is to awaken differently, not to noise, not to alarm, but to beauty itself. Step barefoot across the wooden floor and feel its warmth, as though the very sun has kissed it while you slept. Draw the curtains aside and witness the infinite ocean before you. It feels like the universe designed this view just for you. At night, when the world quiets and only the moon remains, the master suite glows in gentle amber light. Lovers hold each other close here. Secrets are whispered, promises exchanged, dreams planned. The silence of the ocean outside amplifies every heartbeat. It is a place not just for sleep, but for intimacy, for vulnerability, for the kind of connection that defines life. The guest rooms echo this philosophy. They do not whisper secondary importance, they speak with their own voices of elegance and comfort. Friends who visit are not treated as outsiders, they are welcomed into the very same embrace. The design ensures every person aboard feels as though the royal tide was built with them in mind. As you explore deeper, the entertainment lounge reveals itself again in new light. By day, it may be a space of laughter, a gathering for stories and games. By night, it becomes cinematic magic. The projector hums softly, the screen glows to life, and surround sound transforms the space into a private cinema more luxurious than anything on land. Imagine watching a film here, the sound wrapping around you, the soft cushions beneath you, and yet, just beyond the screen, a hint of the sea's reflection reminding you where you truly are. This duality is what defines the royal tide. It offers the finest of human invention while never letting you forget the majesty of nature that surrounds you. Step outside onto the sun deck, and the sky welcomes you. The air here feels different, cleaner, fresher. It is the kind of air that fills your lungs with more than oxygen, it fills them with freedom. Recline on the lounge chairs as the ocean stretches endlessly ahead, the blue so deep it feels like eternity itself. In the afternoon, sunlight warms your skin, and you close your eyes, hearing nothing but the lapping of waves and the occasional cry of a distant gull. In the evening, as the sun dips into the water, the entire deck is bathed in fire, gold, orange, crimson, all reflected in the glass railings and polished surfaces. At night, the deck becomes the balcony of the universe. Above, stars burn brighter than you have ever seen, while below, the sea reflects them, doubling their light. It feels as though you are suspended between two galaxies, floating in a realm where time and gravity lose meaning. The bathroom, too, refuses to be ordinary. The freestanding tub is placed directly beside a panoramic window, ensuring that every soak is accompanied by an endless view of the ocean. Imagine sinking into warm water, golden lights glowing softly above you, while outside, the horizon stretches in stillness. The marble walls gleam in candlelight, and golden fixtures glisten with elegance. This is not a bathroom, it is a sanctuary for the soul. Here, you do not wash away the day, you baptize yourself in serenity. When the royal tide begins to move again, the entire vessel hums with subtle power. It does not roar, it whispers. The engines are tuned not to disturb the ocean, but to glide through it with grace. As the bow cuts through the waves, the spray rises in arcs of silver. From above, captured by drone, the boat resembles a moving constellation, lights glowing against the backdrop of midnight water. The ocean accepts its movement, and the royal tide leaves behind a glowing trail, as if the sea itself is reluctant to let it go. Each sunrise on this vessel feels like the first sunrise ever witnessed by humankind. The sky begins as ink, then slowly bleeds into hues of violet, then rose, then fire. Standing on the deck at this hour feels like a private performance by the cosmos itself. Coffee in hand, you watch the day awaken. The air is crisp, the sea still, and in that moment, you understand that life is not measured in years but in mornings like these. Each sunset, on the other hand, feels like a farewell. The sky burns with passion, the waves turn to liquid fire, and the royal tide becomes a silhouette of elegance against a painting of cosmic art. Silence dominates these hours. It is not an empty silence but a full one, filled with awe, with gratitude, with reverence. To watch the sun vanish into the horizon while standing on this boat is to understand eternity. The night after sunset carries its own kind of magic. As lights flicker on across the decks, the royal tide becomes a palace afloat. From afar, it gleams with golden aura, a beacon of luxury upon the endless Black Sea. Inside, laughter spills from the entertainment lounge, glasses clink in celebration, and music drifts softly into the night air. Step outside, and the stars crown the sky while the ocean mirrors them, creating a world of double infinities. To exist here, even for a single night, is to exist beyond ordinary living. The royal tide is not simply a vessel. It is not simply design. It is an entire philosophy. It teaches that life is not about speed, not about rushing from one place to another, but about existing fully in the present. It is about finding luxury not in possession, but in experience. It is about sitting in silence and realizing that silence itself can be the greatest music. It is about waking to the ocean, sleeping under the stars, eating in the embrace of sunlight, and celebrating life with those you love most. And as the royal tide sails further, it becomes clear why its name was chosen. The tide itself, eternal and powerful, now feels royal as it carries this palace across the sea. It is not merely floating. It is reigning. It does not fight the ocean, it partners with it, moving in harmony. And those who step aboard are not passengers, they are royalty themselves, crowned by the very experience of being part of this masterpiece. The journey on the royal tide stretches into another day, and with each hour, the vessel seems to reveal more of its soul. It is not static, it is alive. The walls breathe with the rhythm of the sea, the decks hum with stories yet to unfold, and every surface gleams with the reflection of dreams. For those fortunate enough to remain aboard, time begins to lose its linearity. Hours dissolve into moments, moments expand into eternity, and what remains is not the measure of days, but the measure of experiences. In the early hours, before the world fully awakens, there is a hush that falls across the royal tide. The staff moves silently, like shadows, preparing for another day of indulgence. The faint scent of coffee drifts through the lounge, mingling with the crisp sea air that finds its way inside through barely opened windows. Somewhere in the kitchen, bread rises in the oven, filling the air with a warmth that feels like memory. Guests stir slowly, some stepping onto the balcony in robes, hair tousled, eyes still heavy with dreams. They sip their morning tea or coffee, and as the first light of dawn kisses the horizon, they realize they are living within a painting that constantly renews itself. There is a quiet power in this morning ritual. On land, mornings are often rushed, filled with alarms, deadlines, and noise. Here, they unfold like poetry. One can sit for an hour, 2, or 3, simply watching light transform the sea. The conversation is minimal, for words seem inadequate to capture the feeling. And yet, in that silence, bonds are strengthened. Friends share glances that say more than speech, lovers exchange smiles that hold entire universes, and even strangers find themselves connected by the shared awe of nature's artistry. As the day stretches forward, the royal tide reveals its playful side. The sun climbs higher, the temperature warms, and suddenly the decks become alive with activity. Children laugh as they splash in the pool, their voices rising above the gentle hum of the ocean. Adults recline on sun loungers, glasses of chilled champagne catching the light. The pool water sparkles like liquid diamonds, each ripple reflecting fragments of the sky. To dip into this pool is to immerse not only in water, but in luxury itself. One emerges refreshed, not merely cleansed but renewed, as if the sea has shared a piece of its ancient vitality. For those who seek adventure, the Royal Tide offers more than leisure. Jet skis are prepared, their engines purring with anticipation. Guests slip into gear, their excitement electric. With a sudden surge, they cut across the waves, leaving trails of white spray against the deep blue canvas. From the deck, others watch with admiration, the speed and freedom reminding them of the boundless potential of human spirit. Those who prefer quietude instead lower themselves into kayaks or paddleboards, drifting gently, their movements synchronized with the heartbeat of the ocean. In these moments, one realizes that the Royal Tide is not an escape from the world, it is a gateway to experiencing it more fully. Lunch arrives as an event rather than a meal. Chefs curate menus that rival Michelin-starred restaurants, yet the presentation feels effortless, natural. Platters of seafood, freshly caught, seasoned with herbs, grilled to perfection, adorn the table. Salads glisten with vibrant greens, sprinkled with edible flowers that echo the beauty of the sea around. Crystal glasses are filled with wines chosen to complement not only the food but the very mood of the day. To eat here is to celebrate existence. Each bite carries not only flavor but story. The journey of ingredients, the artistry of preparation, the shared joy of those partaking. And as the sea stretches infinitely around the diners, it becomes clear that the true luxury is not what is served, but where it is savored. Afternoons on the Royal Tide slow down into serenity. After indulgent meals and sunlit laughter, guests retreat into shaded corners or back to their suites. Some nap, lulled by the gentle rocking of the boat, their dreams blending seamlessly with reality. Others sink into books, the words carrying them further into imagination as the world outside remains an ever-shifting backdrop of beauty. Musicians sometimes appear, strumming soft notes on acoustic guitars, their melodies weaving through the breeze. The entire vessel becomes a canvas of stillness, painted with comfort and peace. As evening approaches, the mood shifts once again. The crew prepares for what has become one of the most anticipated rituals aboard the Royal Tide, the sunset gathering. Chairs are arranged on the upper deck, cushions placed carefully, lanterns lit with soft golden glow. Guests emerge dressed in elegance, silks, linens, flowing fabrics that catch the breeze and shimmer in the dying light. Glasses of champagne and cocktails are distributed, each sparkling in the amber hues of dusk. And then, as the sun lowers itself into the horizon, silence falls across the group. Conversations cease, music softens, and all eyes turn toward the great cosmic theater unfolding in the west. It is during these sunsets that time truly seems to stop. The sky becomes a living painting, colors bleeding into one another in ways no artist could ever replicate. The sea reflects every shade, doubling the majesty, until it feels as though the Royal Tide is sailing through fire and gold. To witness this is to be humbled, to be reminded of one's smallness in the vast design of the universe. And yet, standing on this vessel, surrounded by beauty and comfort, one also feels infinite. It is a paradox, and it is perfect. Night brings its own form of enchantment. The decks light up, glowing softly like a palace adrift on the sea. Strings of illumination trace the outlines of the boat, making it visible even from miles away, a beacon of elegance. Inside, music flows, sometimes lively, sometimes intimate, depending on the mood of the evening. The entertainment lounge transforms again, perhaps into a dance floor, where couples sway slowly beneath dimmed lights. Or perhaps it becomes a stage for a live performance, a singer's voice carrying across the vessel and out into the night, mingling with the stars. Dinner under the night sky becomes an affair of dreams. Tables are set outside, the cool air brushing gently against the skin. Courses arrive one after another. Tender meats, exotic flavors, delicate desserts. Each dish is a masterpiece, and yet it is the setting that elevates it beyond comparison. Overhead, constellations shine, and occasionally a shooting star streaks across the darkness, drawing gasps of wonder. Conversations flow easily, laughter echoing against the endless sea, until it becomes difficult to tell where the joy ends and the night begins. Later, when the hour grows quiet and the revelry fades, the Royal Tide shifts into a sanctuary of reflection. Some guests retreat to their suites, where the soft embrace of the bed welcomes them into dreams once again. Others linger on deck, wrapped in blankets, gazing at the ocean that glimmers faintly in the moonlight. The sound of waves against the hull becomes a lullaby, steady and eternal. In these moments, solitude is not loneliness, it is communion with the infinite. And somewhere, perhaps unnoticed, the crew continues their work with devotion. They are the guardians of this floating palace, the unseen hands that ensure every detail is perfect. Their service is invisible yet invaluable, and it is their care that transforms the royal tide from vessel to experience. They move with precision, with pride, with love for what they do. To witness them is to understand that luxury is not only in things, but in people, their skill, their dedication, their humanity. As the voyage extends into multiple days, guests begin to change. They arrive carrying the weight of the world, stress, responsibilities, distractions. But slowly, the royal tide strips them of it all. They laugh more, breathe deeper, sleep better. They remember how to wonder, how to connect, how to be. This transformation is the true magic of the royal tide. It is not only a houseboat. It is a mirror that shows you who you could be if you allowed yourself to live fully. The royal tide glides forward into another night, and by now those aboard have forgotten the very concept of ordinary life. Time has no authority here, only rhythm. The rhythm of the sea, of footsteps across polished wood, of glasses clinking, of laughter rising and dissolving into the air. Every guest senses it, the transformation that has been unfolding since the first moment they stepped onto the vessel. What once felt like a houseboat has revealed itself to be something far more profound, a world designed for the heart, for the senses, for the spirit. In the quiet of midnight, when the revelry has calmed and the decks are nearly empty, the royal tide shows its most intimate face. The lights are dimmed to golden halos, and only the sound of waves remains constant. Some wander alone, barefoot, across the teak, staring at the horizon where sea and sky blur into one. Some sit quietly at the bow, letting the breeze wash over them, reflecting on the sheer improbability of experiencing something so rare, so beautiful. And in those silences, the royal tide whispers to each person. It does not use words, but feelings. It tells them that they are alive, that they are infinite, that this moment will never repeat itself and yet it will remain etched forever within them. The vessel itself seems aware of its role. It carries not just people, but their dreams. Within its suites, couples sleep entwined, holding each other as though the night itself could not pull them apart. Families rest peacefully, children dreaming without fear, their imaginations fueled by the magic of the day they live. Friends linger in laughter even as they drift toward sleep, their bonds strengthened by experiences that cannot be replicated elsewhere. The royal tide holds them all, like a mother cradling her children, safe upon the endless cradle of the ocean. When dawn breaks again, it feels different than all the mornings before, and yet just as magical. The horizon glows with fragile light, as though the world is exhaling after a long dream. Guests stir slowly, walking out in robes and slippers, eyes half closed but hearts wide awake. Some carry cups of coffee, others simply stand still, letting the first rays of sunlight bathe their faces. No one speaks at first, they simply witness. The sun, round and golden, rises from the sea like a god returning to its throne. And as the warmth spreads across the decks, they understand something deeper. The royal tide does not just show them the sea, it shows them themselves. It shows them how beautiful life can be when lived deliberately, slowly, gratefully. The day unfolds with a new kind of energy. The crew organizes excursions for those who wish to explore nearby coves, hidden beaches where sand is white and untouched. A tender boat carries them to shores where time has stood still. Guests walk barefoot across pristine stretches, their laughter mingling with the cries of seabirds. They swim in waters so clear they can see their reflections beneath them, shimmering like alternate selves in another dimension. Returning to the royal tide, they bring with them not seashells or souvenirs, but the priceless memory of touching something pure. Meanwhile, those who remain aboard discover the luxury of stillness. They lounge on the sun deck, where staff circulate quietly with trays of chilled fruit and sparkling water. Some recline with headphones, letting music blend with the murmur of waves. Others close their eyes completely, drifting into a state that is neither waking nor sleeping, but a serene surrender to the environment. The royal tide is a master of balance. It offers adventure to those who crave it, and rest to those who need it. It never demands, it only provides. Lunch today is staged outdoors, under a canopy that filters the bright sun into gentle patterns of light and shade. The sea breeze carries aromas of herbs, grilled fish, fresh bread. Platters arrive, each one a work of art. Lobster tails dressed with butter and lemon, delicate pastas tossed with truffle oil, salads bursting with color. Wine glasses sparkle as they catch the sunlight, toasts are raised, and the air fills with stories. Guests talk about their lives, their past journeys, their hopes. But the royal tide has a way of making those conversations lighter, more joyful, less burdened by worries. It is as if the sea itself listens, carrying away the heaviness of words, leaving only laughter and connection behind. By afternoon, the atmosphere changes again. The pool becomes a stage for play, children splashing while adults cool themselves lazily at the edges. The sound of music drifts faintly from hidden speakers, chosen carefully to fit the rhythm of the day, jazzy, soft, playful. A couple sips cocktails on the deck, their sunglasses reflecting the endless water, their bodies relaxed, their minds uncluttered. Others head into the entertainment lounge, where a spontaneous karaoke session unfolds, voices filling the room with joy. It does not matter who sings well or poorly, what matters is the freedom to let go, to be silly, to be authentic. The royal tide grants that permission. As evening approaches, anticipation builds again. Sunsets have become the soul of this journey, and everyone gathers for it as though it were a sacred ritual. Tonight, the crew has prepared something special. A violinist stands ready on deck, bow in hand, the first notes floating gently into the air as the sun begins its descent. The music and the view merge seamlessly. Guests sit quietly, some holding hands, some sipping champagne, some simply staring, their eyes moist with emotion they cannot explain. The violin sings, the sky burns, and the royal tide floats in silence, suspended between beauty and eternity. Dinner that night is a gala. Tables draped in white linen stretch across the deck, candles flicker in glass lanterns, and the scent of roses blends with the salty air. Chefs present a menu curated not just for taste, but for memory. Foie gras with fig jam, seared tuna with sesame, roasted lamb with rosemary, and finally, a dessert of chocolate spheres that melt to reveal hidden treasures within. Each course is paired with wines that bring out flavors never noticed before, making every bite an experience rather than just nourishment. Guests applaud, laugh, and savor, their joy carried upward into the starlit sky. And then, the dance begins. Musicians strike up lively tunes, and the deck becomes a ballroom. Dresses twirl, shoes tap, laughter fills the night. Couples who had forgotten the rhythm of dancing rediscover it. Friends lock arms and move together. Even strangers become partners, united in the music, in the moment, in the magic of being alive. The royal tide does not only provide luxury, it revives forgotten joys. As the night grows deeper, the tempo slows. The music softens into lullabies, the candles burn low, and people drift toward rest. Some remain on deck, wrapped in shawls, gazing upward at constellations that seem impossibly bright far from city lights. They speak in hushed tones, sharing stories they might never tell elsewhere, their voices merging with the sea. Others retreat to the warmth of their suites, where sleep claims them gently. The royal tide continues its steady glide across the water, keeper of dreams, bearer of souls. Days pass like this, each one unique, each one unforgettable. Some days are filled with activity, water sports, excursions, laughter echoing across the decks. Other days are quiet, introspective, spent journaling, reading, meditating while the sea whispers softly below. But every day carries the same golden thread, the sense of being exactly where one is meant to be, of living not in anticipation or regret, but in the fullness of now. By the end of the voyage, when the royal tide prepares to return to harbor, emotions run deep. Guests pack their belongings, but they realize they are leaving with far more than they brought. They carry peace in their hearts, lightness in their souls, memories carved like jewels into their minds. Some weep softly, not out of sadness, but out of gratitude. Others smile quietly, already planning their return. For all, one truth is undeniable: life will never look the same again. The Royal Tide 2026 has not merely transported them across water. It has transported them across themselves. It has shown them how beautiful the world can be, how meaningful connection can feel, how precious the simple act of breathing can become when done in the right place, with the right people, at the right time. And as they step off the vessel for the last time, turning back for one final glance, they see not just a boat. They see a legend, a floating kingdom. A royal tide that carried them, if only for a while, into a version of life they will never forget.